Greetings, Dr. Bear and esteemed professionals. I'm Jaime Evans Woodard, a humble and energetic learner excited to call Liberty University home for a Master's in Educational Studies degree. This presentation is an exceptional opportunity to showcase technical savvy educational websites and offer analysis and critiques along with self-reflection. Sharing this critical vantage point affords learners the opportunity to deeply dive into an educator's arsenal of online and digital tools and find new academic ones and zeros. Welcome to week 3 of Education 639, Trends and Issues in Educational Technology. Today is April 4th, 2025, and I value your feedback as we investigate educational websites for K through 8 students together and understand the purpose behind our analysis and critique to provide the best educational environments possible for our learners and educators. We will do this by bolstering awareness in the learning domain and fostering dialogue for further discussion by delivering a research presentation with current literature on the analysis and critique of 3 self-selected educational technology websites. Our roadmap for today's presentation includes providing a short background on this educator's technological journey. This helped to foster and empower experiences and self-reflection when choosing 3 educational technology websites. These websites are meaningful to me as I'm using them in public school settings as a substitute and a candidate interviewing with Title I school principals in a great school district here in Georgia. The investigation of iReady, Kahoot, and Interland will help me to prepare my future students along with growing as a teacher and helping to empower families and understand the state, the district, and the school's goals and benchmarks. Common Sense Media, in providing reviews for websites like iReady, Kahoot, and Interland, provides a social contributor web platform that I used in order to review the aforementioned sites. And they share, we believe every child should have access to high quality education, technology, and diverse representation in media. This is critical for all kids to become empathetic, engaged learners and citizens who are supported by media, technology, and society rather than marginalized by them. I first became acquainted with educational technology via computer learning as a young 5th grader traversing the Oregon Trail. Fast forward through 22 years as a Signal Corps officer in the Army, I've helped connect IT devices to satellites, wired networks, wireless environments, and such units as the White House Communications Agency and U.S. Cyber Command, to name a few. As an adult educator, I was a faculty member of the Army's Command and General Staff Officers course using such learning management systems as Blackboard. And now as a Liberty University student and Air Force Air War College student, I've used the Canvas platform. Finally, a recent foray into tech ed with my own daughter happened during the pandemic, assisting her with Google Classroom and Canvas, and now as a high schooler, checking her grades via Infinite Campus's student information system. An online journey of an educator and their technology experience is formed through childhood student experiences, and it's often bolstered by other unique, more current observations through their eyes as a caregiver, parent, formal educator, volunteer, and now as adult students. Let's take a look at our first educational platform. So from iReady's own marketing material, it espouses to be a suite of math and reading environments that provide actionable data that informs classroom instruction and strategic support, monitor progress toward growth and proficiency goals, and delivering personalized instruction to students. And you see that actionable data and monitored progress on the screenshot in front of you now. So iReady espouses that educators are at the core of everything that they do. They share at-cost tools, expensive resources, and peer-reviewed research to help every learner grow to their personal best. Curriculum Associates, if we peek behind the curtain, is the iReady creator, and it's been around for 50 years. And they work with states and districts and countries across the world to provide timely insight and data, create tailored instruction, and quite frankly, establish efficiencies through evidence-based solutions to work and save educators time. From a Georgia school district's perspective of using iReady, they share that the platform is an online tool for reading and mathematics that will help determine the students' needs, personalize their learning, and monitor their progress throughout the school year. They also go on to say that iReady provides data to personalize instruction to increase students' learning gains. This explanation goes on to state that iReady Diagnostic is an adaptive assessment that adjusts its questions to suit students' needs. Each item a student sees is individualized based on their answers to the previous question. The purpose of an adaptive assessment is to determine how best to support that student's learning. Through their own admission, iReady states their lessons are fun and interactive, keeping students engaged as they learn. In this particular county in Georgia, the diagnostic is administered 3 times a year, in addition to all the other statewide testings that's required, and it's K through 8 students. And moving back to the iReady marketing material, their bumper sticker would certainly be one goal: make the classroom a better place for you. And for you, that means the educator. And this reflects the sage on the stage, that educators are at the core of curriculum instruction. So let's take a look at a positive analysis of iReady. It does provide immediate student and teacher feedback, like the screenshot that you see of student progress for their particular math lesson. And depending on the amount of licensing and level of access purchased by the state, district, or school, caregivers, parents, and families can have 24/7 access. I've seen throughout this county where Title I schools require completion of iReady lessons in the classroom, while more high-performing schools require iReady to be completed as homework. So we've got thousands of hours of state and school goals benchmark, and this allows you to peek behind the curtain of iReady with a whole slew of developers encompassing all that tailored content to meet the curriculum and benchmark goals that these students in this particular setting need to attain. So what might be wrong with iReady or seen as a challenge? It's time consuming. So certainly from a development standpoint, to get through all that content, teachers often have iReady days where students are online for the entire day trying to knock out instruction blocks of digital instruction just to get it done, or students are hurriedly clicking through the content and pulling up AI to answer questions via homework. Online reviews of iReady by educators also states that assessments should not be used to define grades, but there has been evidence where the feedback that you see on the screen there, where a student received an 83%, that might be equated to the grade that they receive on their report card. It's stressed that iReady should not be used as a grading mechanism on report cards. And quite frankly, I've seen where a 4th grader remarked that they always fail their iReady assessments. And so some online feedback is that the outcomes do degenerate some students, demoralizes their excitement about being on an online platform because they are not succeeding. So what I've seen is that students generally suffer through iReady digital lessons so they can just get to the games in the platform. Best practices that I've seen with this particular platform are, after you complete an iReady lesson, you receive a really cool puffy sticker, and students were really excited to show me all their puffy stickers that they've received from completing their iReady lesson benchmarks at a particular scale. Additionally, I've seen where lower grades in this county don't have devices for every student. So kindergarten, 1st, and 2nd grade don't have a 1-to-1 ratio on these tech devices. They all go to hands-on learning digital devices saved for grades 3 through 8. So our kindergartens typically struggle with iReady assessments as they're still working to approach competency levels to use the platforms and the devices. Let's get ready to move on to some fun tech ed and have our students shout for Kahoot. So this is easily one of the more popular tools on a educational technology list. Kahoot has built a legacy of quiz show gaming platforms. So gone are the days of using PowerPoint to create a Jeopardy-like game to reinforce student learning. Kahoot is now a go-to platform for educators to ensure that all students are participating in their lessons. A reviewer does share that Kahoot is now a bit bloated with even more excessive offerings, but at its purest level, they share that the slick presentations of quiz show experiences remain unmatched for the K through 12 classrooms. An exciting feature for review on the Common Sense website was a post-quiz exit ticket that gets students reflecting on their learning and feelings after their classroom experience. Now, it's important to talk the talk, so Kahoots refer to the Kahoot games. Kahooting refers to creating a Kahoot game, and as a Kahooter, you are a player of a Kahoot game. So obviously Kahoot's own marketing material shares that it espouses to make learning awesome. Let's see if it does. Kahoot is a fun and engaging art environment as depicted by the moon landings lesson that you see on the screen. This was built by Brian Cox. It's free from his Adventures in Space course. However, the moon landings module, pun intended, is free, but the rest of his course costs $2.95. The other neat thing about Kahoot is it provides immediate full class feedback on assessments if every learner has a device. So the teacher can ask a question and see the level of attainment real time, immediately reteaching or reframing to ensure learner benchmarks are met. The other outstanding positive analysis of Kahoot is you as an educator have enormous access to content and tools, and so does the learner. As you can see from the moon landings example, educators contribute and make money from their content, as well as robust connections that do often cost money to things like BBC Learning, TED Ed, Disney, and even connections to biblical channels that provide content and games. So let's talk about what's not, positive about Kahoot, and that's obviously not all content is free, and it's not all research-based and peer-reviewed. So intense review is needed prior to using any of the existing content. Also, every student needs a device to participate in the 100% classroom immediate feedback assessments, or at least students can think, pair, share via shared device. So my personal observation, I've used this in an adult learning environment with a bring your own device, and students love the platform. Adjacent educators were contagious to use this immediate feedback mechanism for notorious challenging lessons. Additionally, middle schoolers and upper grades of elementary schoolers enjoy the gamesmanship of being a Kahooter. And what I mean by that is students can start Kahooting by creating their own quizzes and games to showcase curriculum benchmarks. This can be an assignment. Teachers can ask students to create their own quiz shows or games. And since we shared this online collaborative social gaming space, it's also important to preface or conclude any of our technical education platform discussions with a digital citizenship lesson. So Interland helps us achieve that goal. Google splashes across Interland's welcome screen, "Be Internet Awesome." And this is certainly their headline for marketing the digital citizenship game environment as empowering kids to be safe, confident explorers of the online world. The lessons provided by Interland and Google provide a pledge and a company classroom curriculum that traverses such learning lessons as share with care, Secure your secrets. It's cool to be kind, and don't fall for fake. The website Medium is a digital home for human stories and ideas, and here anyone can share knowledge and wisdom with the world, including ideas about Interland. Medium also shares that the internet is noisy and chaotic, and their website is quiet yet full of insight. And I found that to be the case with Medium reviewer Vivian Y, when she shares that this game helps to transfer kindness beyond the internet. And it's a good example of a game that succeeds both as a learning experience, but then also as a social, emotional learning platform. So there's a constant loop where you can collect a cache of hearts and also cheer up cyberbully victims. And this reinforces the idea that you as a player have the ability to share kindness to others on the internet. It also shares that players are responsible for their actions and can have a positive impact on the world around them. Where the game needs added specifics is how to report cyberbullying outside the constructs of the game. And this is information that the school districts must cover. So it's important to say that Interland is free, although it is rampant with Google branding. The music is catchy, the game is fun for students. I enjoyed playing this game with my daughter during the pandemic. Obviously, it's reinforcing digital citizenship and social emotional learning lessons. However, students must have previous knowledge. Younger kids might not know what an emoji is or how to use the game controls or understand text speak. Therefore, the game must use accompanying instruction, and Google provides all that via a digital safety unit, an oath or a code of conduct, as you see shown on the screen here, to be internet awesome. My own personal observations, grades 1 through 4 love this game. Teachers First also provides that it would be great for a center activity in a digital citizenship lesson, and it's a must-share website on a teacher website or school website, so parents can reinforce digital citizenship at home. So it's always important to complement digital citizenship with truth, and it's important to reflect biblical teachings that should inform our online behavior. So in Philippians 4, 8 through 9, Paul shares, whatever is true, whatever is noble, whatever is right, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is admirable, if anything is excellent or praiseworthy, think about such things. Whatever you have learned or received or heard from me or seen in me, put into practice. And this certainly could be a Christian's bumper sticker to online behavior. Crediting specific reviewers, the website's own branding, and the Bible references is very important. From websites like the National Education Policy Center to Common Sense to iReady, Kahoot, and Interland's own About Us pages, there's an arsenal of reviews, resources, and references to help educators make informed choices about educational technology in your classroom and in my classroom. Ultimately, the Bible provides us our North Star to help us showcase the truth and teach like Jesus would. In conclusion, I welcome all questions and further discussions on these websites, iReady, Kahoot, and Interland, and I'm excited to find other great educational technology websites from Adjacent teachers and Liberty University School of Education students and faculty. Thank you for your time and feedback. You can always reach me at jwoodard3@liberty.edu. It's with great and respect and admiration that I close today's presentation. Thank you so much for helping me to improve my understanding of educational technology. God bless.